Hello and welcome. I'm the Restless Kaiser.
And I'm Woolly Mike, but together we are
Modelling for Advantage. Well, the Waffen-SS Achtung, Panzer. Achtung. It actually came out a while ago, and I don't think they made an announcement or anything around it. I didn't make a big hullabaloo. We had it for a little while and just not got around to scheduling it. What we're interested to know in here is whether there's anything different. There's obviously new vehicle stat cards, but the stats were in the book. Is that correct?
Yes.
But we don't know whether there's anything different about them because it's labelled as an SS. I suspect not, but let's have a look.
Okay. What's in the box? One King Tiger, 2 Stug 3 Alfs G, 1 Tiger 1 and 1 Puma. Tank crew, assembly guides, asset cards, tank ace cards, tank skill cards, tracker, data cards, tokens, markers, and stowage and accessories.
And somewhere on that list, you didn't say there's a Tiger 2, or a Royal Tiger, or a
King Tiger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think you said it. Anyway.
Yeah.
There's one of them as well.
Koenigs Tiger, or Bengal Tiger.
All the Tigers.
Yeah. It's quite a deep box.
It is a deep box. So there you go. You get your tanks in there. We have got here, first one, is this the King Tiger? I've learned that's the King Tiger. That's a Tiger. That's a Puma. And they're a pair of Stugs. They can be stew, and we'll talk about that a tiny bit when we get to that. I mean, none of these kits are new to this box, but we will talk about the sprues. But what else do we get?
3 packs of tokens and fire fluff. 3,
not 5. Interesting.
Normally you only get one of those in there.
Per tank?
Per tank, yeah.
Per vehicle. So this is your ubiquitous bag of fiery asbestos fibres. They like to come with little MDF things. We just get a huge bag of this stuff. Whenever a vehicle is disabled, we stuff it in. But I think technically, if the vehicle's on fire, they're expecting you to use this to mark that it's on fire. And that's why they give you MDF bases.
And smoke.
Yeah, so you can use this for smoke markers and so forth. We tend to just use them as a plume of smoke.
Packed by Alexandra.
And then
Lord Resin Tank Crew.
Yeah, they're cool looking tank crew. We'll look at them in a little bit more detail.
And stowage.
You got the previous German stowage sets, I think, so we can see if you remember if they're the same.
Well, we've actually got the Achtung Panzer starter stowage set and the SS Tank Force stowage pack.
Oh, so one we have had before.
And one we haven't.
Which comes in the starter box, not in the German Army box. And a new one. But again, we're going to show you these bits in a minute, and then we get destructions.
Yeah.
And some
and the playing cards over here.
And decal sheets. All right, we'll sort this stuff out. We'll be right back. All right, so tokens and stuff.
So we get a full set of the tokens that go on the battle cards as you're playing the game. You're needing crew ranks, types of ammo,
movement orders, crew abilities, like you said, damage, ammo. You need,
buttoned and unbuttoned.
You need them to play the game, so it's great that they've included some more. Because I think in the starter sets, you need one set of those per tank.
You do.
And even though each tank might not use all of them, you need something from there for every tank.
So 5 of those as expected.
Yeah, for the 5 vehicles. So ubiquitous German decal sheets.
That's suspiciously. Oh, we've got.
Is there only one? Or are there more than one in there?
We've got a well-sealed baggie.
Sometime later.
Only one,
but it has many Balkan crosses on it and
does.
Many numbers. Switching to my reading glasses, we've got division insignia on here for things like Panzer Lair. Some of the black ones, a lot of them are SS Panzer divisions, as well as line ones. And this is called the Waffen-SS Tank Force decal sheet. So I assume this is a decal sheet that's been commissioned for this. There's certainly enough Balkan crosses to plaster all 5 of these vehicles in them, and enough numbers to give them a number. If you're a real rivet counter, there is a numbering system for German vehicles. It's not random, and it's basically each of the digits denotes where it fits in the structure, the leading numeral. So 201 and 200 are the command tanks for the battalion.
Yeah.
Things like that. But this is a game with a very small number of tanks, so as long as you have low numbers, you'll be okay.
If you do want the number plates, I normally find like the Opel Blitz or some of the truck vehicles have plenty.
Because the Puma does have space for, it does have a way you can put the number plate. We talked about the asbestos fibers already, so we can put those to one side. Should we have a look at the what do we call asset cards? Is it?
Yeah, that's the asset cards.
Asset cards. Achtung, Panzer German Force asset deck. So I imagine these are the same assets. It's just another copy in case you hadn't bought the other box. If you buy the starter set, you don't get all of these. Oh, this was packed by Becky. Sniper, Panzernack, Artillery, Tank Hunters, Airstrike. I recognise these. Assault Engineers, Tank Hunters, 88mm gun. Yeah. This may not be an identical, but it feels like it. I feel like I've seen all of these cards before. And because you choose these, it doesn't matter. You don't have to worry about which deck it came from or anything like that, or having more than one.
Yeah, you get a mount point, and it's basically off-table assets or that you don't actually field a model for.
Yeah, but it's not. You're supposed to shuffle and draw randomly when it matters that you have the right ones. This is just other copies.
And as part of the pre-game, you get a points cost.
Yeah, then if your Germans are later in the war, the less of it you get. Yeah, basically.
So we've got
some clan packs we wanted to talk about, I think, Ollie, before we go on to the vehicles. So should we open up the Siocast tank crew? Because I've got to say, you know, Warlord, they've repackaged all of their support. They do two types of weapons packs. They do weapons packs for 2-man teams and weapon packs for 3 or more teams. All the 2-man teams, the snipers, the flamethrowers, they've redone in Siocast. And actually, I like them. Now you have a look at these.
I've already, for at home, I've got Russian and Americans for the Achtung Panzer. So I've got the dismounted troops for both of those, and I've actually painted them up. Once they've got quite a bit of extra support flashing on some of them.
Yeah.
Once you've given them a little wash over and cleaned up the base areas.
Yeah.
These are very, very fine detail.
And a lot of these are based upon metal casts that they'd had before, but some of these are new commissions, I think. I honestly, I've been quite open in my criticism of Siocast as well. They call it Warlord resin. Siocast is the name of the machine, I think, as opposed to the formula. I'm not sure. I think I might prefer this to metal. These are very nice, and I'm not saying that because Warlord Game, we bought this box. You know, they didn't send us a free one or anything. And I do like these. They are a bit wintry.
They are. I'd say they were very wintry.
Yeah.
This guy's got the snow smock and padded trousers.
And so's this guy. This guy's got like a scarf under his cap.
And we've got the guy escorting the wounded guys in a full greatcoat as well. So
yeah, so we've got four guys on foot. Well, 3 with the fourth one being carried. So we've got a full tank crew, most of a tank crew dismounted, and we got 4 commander up guys. So I don't know if you've got a cupola in the Puma. You could certainly model 4 of them commander up. Because you've got 4 models here, you could put it in the Puma. Yeah. Okay. So these are nice. I like these. Whether they're new sculpts or not, I don't know, but they're very clean and very detailed, and I'm very positive feeling about it. Can I just see the guy carrying them? Because we've got the 25mm lip bases here. Does the wounded guy fit on here? He does. He does. I was a little bit nervous that he might have needed to go on a slightly bigger base, but he does fit just and so. Yeah, fits. You might want to trim one end of the base a little bit just to get it on neatly.
These commanders look a lot better than the previous ones you would get as well.
And certainly a lot better than the ones you get on the sprue.
Yes.
They're a lot better. They're nice. They're as good, if not better, than any metal ones that I've handled. Genuinely. I want these.
Yeah, I like those.
I want those guys. I'm keeping them. All right. And then the clan packs of the stowage and crew, the stowage bits. This one, we'll get them out. These are metal mostly metal, although actually I've got some Sarcast bits in here. So Clan Pack 1, which comes from the starter set, you've got there.
So this is bedrolls, camo wraps, tent rolls, and some jerry cans.
Yeah, so that's very generic. That is like a vehicle on campaign has got a load of junk on the engine deck that it doesn't get issued with, and will fit on pretty much any tank, right? But the great thing about them, they're sculpted in metal, but each one is slightly different. Although you sometimes get a few of those things on plastic sprues, you're ending up with the same. Everybody's got the same bedroll. Well, whereas they've done that, everybody's got different bedrolls, so that's nice. As I say, some of you will have that one before. These bits in the one unique to this. So we've got, that's probably King Tiger spare track, because it's very wide, and King Tiger wheels, by the looks of things, which again, they might be carrying spares of. These will be Panzer 4 wheels and track. We've got a helmet, which is a fabric covered helmet, as opposed to just the bare style helm, late War One, and gas mask case. The German army was still issuing troops with gas mask cases in 1945, made out of aluminium, which you could be making aeroplanes out of, and nobody used gas. And I think the thing is twofold. One is they didn't run out of aluminium and they didn't run out of planes. They ran out of pilots. So you can say, "Ooh, you could have been making more planes out of that aluminium." Saying, yeah, but the problem was pilots, not planes. Not that they'd had enough planes, but they didn't have enough pilots for the planes they did have. And the other one is, it was just a bit of gear that the soldiers quickly realised that they could use for storing lots of different things. They all chucked the gas mask out on campaign, but put other things in it, and the soldiers wanted to keep it because it's a case that's waterproof. Yeah, unlike your bread bag or whatever else, that is a waterproof steel container. Yeah. So that's a nice thing to find on there. Here, in a similar vein, so we've got the bread bag and the water holder. This is some kind of toolkits here. And again, because they're sculpted in metal and got detail, they're open toolkits. I assume this long one is a gun cleaning kit. Yeah. It's the same type of corrugated aluminium looking. I think it's a gun cleaning kit, but it might be something else. If you know, you tell me, because I thought the gun cleaning kits are unique to the vehicle. Yeah, because the gun cleaning kit would be like 3 or 4. If you've ever seen the old Cannon Jimmy Sweet.
Yeah, the Cannon ramrod, but it would be 3 or 4 of them that they would then put together to be able to go down the full bore of the gun.
Right.
And it would take the whole crew.
Yeah, and then attach it together, push it down, strung it on. And then we've got a log, which I assume this is quite wide. So this is an unditching beam. The kind of thing that, again, experienced tank crews would have it. If you'd ever ditched a tank, got a tank caught, you quickly realise, we want to saw down a tree and take that with us. You shove this in front of the tank and it just allows it to get a bit of purchase, so the tank it's something to grip onto, so it can get moving if you get stuck. Various assorted small arms, which is nice because this is just a bit of battlefield scenery. Is that a rifle?
Yeah, KR-98.
Yeah, KR-98 and a grenade case and some random boxes. And then in resin we have some buckets. That's a certain rangefinder. I forget what it is. And a dolly. And the doll is from Fury, isn't it? Isn't there a doll in the rubble when they go back to the house?
Yes.
Where they met the family and had the eggs and so forth.
Because the American version is a teddy bear and a guitar case.
Right, which should be from a different movie.
Yeah.
And again, you've got this really nice little Cyocast piece here, which has got some bedding and stuff and a landmine stacked up. And I assume, because they know they're onions, these boxes are all to German specifications. There's nothing wrong. And another case of some description. they're nice things to dump on the engine decks of your tank to make them look
Yeah,
lived in, I think.
the one with the gun, because you've got your Panzer Grenadiers, your tank riders, and that they would. And there's not a lot of room inside these tanks, so their personal gear
is on the outside.
Is on the outside.
Yeah.
And then hopefully it survives the battle and doesn't get blown off or burnt off.
Yeah, but on campaign, you don't spend most of your time not in battle.
Yeah.
And in fact, I think it's certainly in German armies, you know, the service life of vehicles in combat is really short.
Yeah.
They don't spend a lot of time in action before the vehicle is destroyed.
Yeah, so 2 of those for the 5 vehicles is a nice mix.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, let's have a look at the kit. First up then, let's talk about... Oh, you've got some cards there.
You've got some ace skills.
We've got aces. Right, now I know what they are. They're the skill cards. We'll check if the aces are different when we get to the end of the tanks, if that's all right. So the Stu, then, or the Stug, this is you get 2 of these. This kit will make... So the Stu 42 is the infantry support assault gun. They were in small units, I think notionally 16 in a battalion, and these are for supporting infantry. They're howitzer armed bunker busters, and they're what the Stug was originally designed to be when it's sort of conceived. I think it's Manstein's idea that we need something that isn't part of the Panzerwaffe to support the infantry when they hit hard targets. This is what it was. As a kit, it's like a lot of these, and I'm pretty sure it's an Italian one. You can usually tell by the tubing that's been rescaled. So as a kit, it follows that usual format. You've got the kind of canoe that you attach the wheels and running gear to, and you then put the tracks on. You built this one, Mike, and we did get a bit of gravity sag with this one, didn't we?
The only problem with building it is the front of the upper body, where it joins the tub.
Yeah.
There's a tendency to pull away.
Right.
So you end up with a groove there.
Exactly, you think, because there's a slight curve to there's an incline.
Yeah, you can see it if you just hold the sheet. The sprue is slightly curved itself. But yeah, the front glasses doesn't mate with
Didn't mate perfectly in a little... Yeah. So you want to peg it.
Yeah.
You want to get like a clothesline peg, because it's big enough to hold it. But because we only know that after it dried and a gap had appeared, it was fine when we put it together. But looking again, or if you haven't got a clothesline peg or it doesn't fit, tight rubber band.
Yeah.
Make sure the two...
Although there is a spare piece of track link which actually could fit... fits in the right place if you do make that mistake.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the only thing with this one I found was that one single...
thing there.
Yeah.
Yeah, just be careful like with all these, because the tracks are in 2 parts again. The lower one can sag due to sort of gravity while it's drying. It's worth making sure it's held firmly in place. It's a consequence of all this kind of track design. But it's keyed against the running wheel, the running gear, so it fits fine into place. And the skirts, the sponsons, are they keyed against the side of the hull?
You've got some very fine standoffs.
Right.
Little Y pieces to do a standoff.
Right.
So most of these, I don't put the side skirts on because this is quite a complex manoeuvre to get them in the right place, to get them lined up, and then get the skirts on.
Especially when there's no socket for them to go into. Yeah. So they are there. There are versions of these tanks with bazooka skirts and versions without bazooka skirts. And in bolt action, you can pay points for the skirts, or you can not pay points for the skirts. And in this Achtung Panzer, I don't think it matters. The bazooka skirts is a campaign upgrade, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think, but it's not on the main card. In fact, the model. It's got the gun version with the skirts and the howitzer version, the one depicted on the card, without.
Yeah. Although both of them say Scherzen as special traits.
Both of them say Scherzen as a special trait, so they do have them. So they're not optional in this one. We just also took the opportunity to check, although this is an SS box, we wondered if the stats were different on the vehicles, and they're not. It's in fact an identical, we can show you side by side. This is the one from the German Army box. That's the one from me. It's identical. And again on the back.
Yeah.
It does make the 2 kits, like we said. It makes the Stu, the STUH, The howitzer one, which is talked about. The longer barrel version one is the tank destroyer version, the Stug or the gun version. They were used in increasing numbers because they're just cheaper to make than tanks, and they can mount a bigger gun by putting it in the
Because you
hole.
get 2 in the box, you get 2 in the set as well.
You get 2 cards in the set, right?
Which is always handy.
Always handy. In game, I played a game of Achtung Panzer with a Stu thinking, oh, it's a cheaper vehicle to make up the points. I deeply regretted it because of the loading times and things, and the Stug doesn't, it's not like it's got loads of machine guns either, so its close assault factors are terrible. I just found it just didn't have a role in Achtung Panzer. It didn't have it at all, which was a shame.
So next one is our Puma.
Puma.
So the Puma card didn't appear in the starter set.
No, there were no German armoured cars in the starter set, and I really felt when I was building my lists, I really wanted one. So I'm glad to see the Puma in here.
The stats were at the end. There were the stats, so you did get blank cards available where you could do them by hand.
Cards, you got a blank sheet in the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can photocopy.
Yeah. Okay, so the Puma now.
Complex.
I built one of these. This is not an easy kit to make.
The running gear and all the suspension.
It's the suspension. Yeah, you look at all these pieces here. Each wheel is attached separately, and each wheel has several parts. It's not like there's a single piece that plugs into the hole. So if you see just on this lower hole, the number of keying points tells you that it's quite complicated. It did have a complicated suspension arrangement, and this is a model kit, not a Wargamers kit. I think a simple model kit, but nonetheless. So it's modelled the complex suspension. But I would have much preferred a lower fidelity single piece that I just glued on the side.
For the bottom.
For the bottom. Because you can't see it.
Yeah, you've got to remember this is an 8-wheel drive, 8-wheel steer vehicle, and it can drive in reverse.
And it's got a rear driving position, And literally, like Captain Scarlet. You drive the vehicles from the back. Yeah,
so all of that mechanism is the steering mechanism for all of the 8 wheels turning.
Yeah, it's when people talk about German over-engineering, and they tend to be talking about Tiger tanks.
Yeah.
Tiger tanks were genuinely better performing vehicles than what they were up against. These don't particularly outperform British armoured cars or American ones, but they're way more expensive to make.
Yeah.
Because they're wondrous pieces of technology, but you can make a Panzer 3 or 4 for the same price as one of these.
Yeah.
So as a kit, it is a serious modelling proposition. The wheels are all properly keyed, so if you get the suspension and stuff in the right place, the wheels are going to be straight, which is good compared to a resin kit where sometimes you struggle to do that. But it is, build this last, if I were you, and build it carefully and build the whole bottom or the whole underside first. Some of you will be laughing at me thinking that's not that difficult a kit. And no, but compared to your standard wargaming kit, it's a lot more involved.
Yeah, the finishing off is nice because it's got lots of gubbins that go on the top.
Oh yeah, and
once you've got past the suspension and the steering.
Once you've got past the head suspension and the steering, absolutely. And then the carding game is worth talking about because we didn't have a card before. How many points is it?
So 10 points for a low grade, 11 for a medium, 12 for a high grade. It's got a 50mm L60 gun. Short and long range is 5 pluses to hit on the D6. And penetration 2 and 3. It can take special armour, HE and armour piercing. So you've got the mixed weapon ranges, so it will fight other vehicles quite well.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's got that long 50 as a gun, it's comparable to light tanks in its armament, but it's only 11 points. So if you got, if you're looking to fit it in, but I felt my force needed an armoured car in it. And now we've got one.
Yeah, I think everybody's going to have a Puma, aren't they? Tiger 1.
The Tiger 1, and this is, there's 2 versions.
The Alps FH heavy tank and the Alps E heavy tank. Alps.
H?
Yeah.
The H.
And the E.
The H and the E, yeah. So it's the same card that we've had before, so we don't need to go through the stats. Tiger, have you built a Tiger?
I've got a Tiger 131 from my Africa Corps.
Oh, you got Tiger 131, but you use this kit to make it?
Yeah.
Okay, so that brings up an interesting question, whether you are able to make... No, so I think this kit is the later Tiger. I mean, there's not big differences, but the earlier one usually has the desert filters on.
The instructions is for the E.
The instructions are for the E.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have desert filters.
No.
Because they're really big V-shaped tubing on the engine deck. You can spot it a mile away. Which 131 does that? It does have that, doesn't it?
131 does have that, yeah.
131 does. If you don't know, Tiger 131 is the one in the Tank Museum, and it still runs. And Mike's a big fan of the Tank Museum. He's seen it many times.
Yeah.
Most famous Tiger in Britain is 131.
Still the only running one at the moment.
So this is, for the size of the vehicle, this is quite a simple kit. In the you know, again, you glue your upper hull to your lower hull. Because of the interleaved road wheels on the Tiger, there's actually a lot of surface to glue your track to. This is the one I found the track easiest to fit to, and didn't have problems just because there was so much more contact. Because often on the other kits, they're only half wheels, whereas this has got an inner set of wheels, so the whole thing is quite deep. You've got keying on here, which lines up with the width of those wheels, so it goes on.
Yeah, so you've got to remember, with the Tiger 1, there's no return rollers on the top of the track.
Right.
So when you're gluing it on, the top track actually sits on top of the running wheels.
Yes, on top of the road wheels, yeah. Yes.
So, yeah, again, so top and bottom, you've got good keying.
Yeah.
Because normally the top's only sitting on, like, 3 return rollers.
Yeah.
For most of the other tanks. So...
Yeah, and actually it's interesting because I'm talking about desert filters. If you look at the card, the picture on the card for the Tiger 1E does have, flip it over.
Yeah.
It does have the desert filters on the model. So presumably Warlord make a resin one, which has got desert filters on.
Yeah.
But not all of the E's had them, though. Because they didn't all need them, but it's usually the way that a wargamer would say this is this type, this is that type. And I don't actually think that there's that much difference in it anyway. But one of the easier kits, the turret assembles really well, the hull assembles really well. Who doesn't want a Tiger in their collection? Boom. Certainly in this game, they cost about the same points as a Panther, and they just got more armour. There's very little in it.
Yeah. Panther D is 25 and Tiger H is 25.
Yeah, which is always the problem with the point system. Same points, but the Tiger will be marginally better. Have slightly more armour on the side.
Yeah.
Or significantly more on the side,
and
in fact, I think.
Better guns hit on the same, but the penetration's better on the Tiger.
Right. Yeah.
So, now.
That was the Tiger?
Königstiger, which the Germans meant to call Bengal Tiger, which became Royal Tiger, which became King Tiger.
So it's got Tiger 2, King Tiger, Royal Tiger, all the names. This is a beast. I mean, you're just looking at the size of the pieces. This is quite a recent kit. This came out Christmas last year, like the year before last or something. I'm going to say recent in my lifetime, which is where you got more comprehensive instructions, I think, for it. You got a booklet.
This is a Warlord book of instructions.
It's a simple kit with huge pieces.
Yeah.
Because it's a massive vehicle. Now, if you're someone who often looks at these kind of things and be like, what am I doing with a King Tiger? You know, there was tiny numbers of these or whatever, and saying, well, yes and no. There were tiny numbers of these if you look at the totality of the war. But in the Battle of the Bulge, these are the assault tanks. And there's several hundred of them. And they're all in the same type, you know, heavy tank battalions. This is the 1944-5 heavy tank. You know, they completely stopped Tiger 1 production and entirely move over to Tiger 2. And there are hundreds of them by the December of 1944. So you're playing that operation, is there? You do see a few of these early. There's there's a handful in Normandy. I think there's like 2 in Panzer Lehr division. You know, like really early ones that get them out there, see how they do. There's not whole formations of them. But if you're playing in the winter of 44, this is the breakthrough tank. This is what they're going to try and do it with.
So looking at the book before we put the sprues away, it's the whole Zimmerit.
Yep. This has got the anti-magnetic coating moulded in the plastic.
And when you get to...
Which is probably why there's like side plates that go onto the upper surfaces, because she's sloped in all 4 planes there. And they usually can't get fidelity on the side. They can only get it on the top. You know, as you look at the sprue in the way injection molded, they can't get definition in depth. They can only get it this way. So these like cheek plates glue on here.
So now if you look at this sprue here.
Have you got 2 different patterns of Zimmerit?
King Tiger with Porsche turret.
Oh, you can make
King
the Porsche.
Tiger with Henschel turret.
Now there's a thing here.
Yep.
And I can't remember which way around it is. But the turret, calling it the Porsche turret and the Henschel turret, I was listening to a podcast from somebody the other day explaining...
It's the Tank Museum podcast.
Was it the Tank Museum? Saying it isn't a Porsche turret, it's a turret for a Porsche tank.
Yes.
And it isn't a Henschel turret, it's a turret for a Henschel tank. Because they're all Rheinmetall?
Yeah.
Or something like that. Anyway, what had happened is there's always with German tank development, the specifications had gone out, different companies had made, you know, slightly different things. They end up picking one, they pick one to go forwards, but Ferdinand Porsche had already started making them anyway on the presumption, and actually it wasn't his that was picked. So there were turrets had been ordered as well from another company that existed. So they stuck them on these. So there were a few of them in service because they weren't going to waste the things that they'd already made. So you can, interestingly then, you can just interchange them. Does the unit card give you both versions?
It just gives you a standard turret. So I'm just looking, this is the narrow.
Is there not a letter at the end of it? Tiger 2. Oh no, there's only one Tiger 2 car. I think performance-wise there isn't a difference. I mean, like ergonomics and stuff, there's definitely a difference, but it's the same gun and there's, you know, etc. So I guess in game,
just look if you look at the base, the top turrets of them, they are slightly different sizes.
Yeah, this one of them is much bigger than the other.
I think this is the narrower turret.
It's the narrower of the 2, is it?
Which is the Porsche turret by the looks of it.
Yeah,
I stand to be corrected, but
yeah. Well, I only I know like a bit of this story. And followed it in detail, but it's nice that they've given you both, because you will find the 2 different turrets on the same hull. And as I say, game stats, I don't think that they would be statted differently in any way. But yeah, that is a nice feature, but a surprisingly simple kit. There's three sprues, not because there's a lot of pieces, but because the pieces are really big.
Yeah.
And this would be my, you know, this is much more of a wargaming kit. There are, on the tracks, you do have, it's not just top and bottom joining, you have a connecting piece on the curve of it. So it's a 3-part track, 4-part track.
Parts, yeah.
It's a 4-part track. Yeah. Which gives you a bit of space for correction. I would glue the 2 long edges on and then firmly attach one, perhaps with super glue, let it dry, then firmly attach the other bit, and then you know it's all properly connected.
Doing all 4 at once is not good,
because some of it's going to slip, some of it's you're going to get a gap. But it's a nice looking kit, and it's good to have a game where you feel like, actually, I mean, how many points is it?
39 for the medium.
39 compared to 25 for the Tiger.
Yeah.
It's quite a lot more, isn't it?
If you want the high quality one, you get 44 points.
You don't need the high quality one.
So that's where the crossover is. But now, when we flip this over, we get the Jagdtiger tank destroyer card.
Ah, right. I don't think you can make it. You can't make a Jagdtiger out of this. You need a different upper hull.
Yeah.
No, you can't make a Jagdtiger out of this. They do make the Jagdtiger, I think.
Yeah.
A plastic one. I'm pretty sure they do. The Jagdtiger is a monster because it's on a Tiger 2 hull, not a Tiger 1 hull.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a beast.
Well, to give you an idea of this one, if you've seen how tall I am, the engine deck is higher than my head on the tank destroyer.
Right, because they've got one of these at the tank. It doesn't run.
No.
But now, if you want to talk about a vehicle that's quite rare, this is quite a rare vehicle because they didn't make enough King Tigers in this movie at all. But again, they were making. If you're playing that super late war, especially into 45, with the forces, the German Panzer forces tend to be whatever is left shoved into the fight. So you are going to find a real mixed bag of vehicles, and this may well be one of them. It's got 128 mil gun. Bearing in mind the Tiger's got an 88 mil gun. The biggest gun is about 100. I'm pretty sure that this is a naval or an anti-aircraft gun. It's a naval caliber anyway. It is enormous. That is a 5-inch gun or more. Is that 5.9 maybe? That's one of there. 128. You will know. You can get a ruler out and find out.
5-inch, yeah.
Yeah, that's a big gun.
Yeah.
For a tank.
And it's
that's bigger than the guns we use today. Yeah. They're 120, 125 on modern tanks.
Yeah.
Somewhere of that order. That's a huge gun.
And the barrel's almost as long as the actual tank.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Massive. And the Jag Tiger is even more. It's 41 rather than 39.
Yeah.
And in this game, facing really matters. I don't think I would play with that.
Yeah.
Even though it might be near indestructible with 22 front armour. Side still only 9.
So,
all right, so that was.
We've still got some more.
We've still got some more cars, but we've not got more units.
So on the back of the Puma, we have
the Sturmpanzer. Oh, the Brummbär assault gun. So this is, I think it's a Panzer IV. Panzer IV, but it's got a big howitzer, maybe like 150 mil or something. Yeah, 150 mil howitzer. Or probably a more accurate term would be mortar, because it's very short barreled. But so's the field howitzer. I don't know if it's the German field howitzer or whether it's a new gun, but it's 150 mil HE. My experience of having, like from playing the Stu in this game, in bolt action, that's a murder machine. Is that in this? I didn't feel the HE gun was a good choice.
So this card interests me. I'm not sure how we'd ever play it. It's 2 variations of the Hetzer.
Right.
The Flammenpanzer.
They did make a flamethrower version.
And the 2-centimetre flak Hetzer.
That's really interesting that they've put these cards in here, though, isn't it? Because this is about getting a vehicle that you might have in your collection.
Yeah.
Look, I just want to put it on the table, all right? I just want to see. So it's nice to see because these are new cards to the game. I don't think either of them are good choices in the game, but they've given you a card for it, which is really nice. Shall we compare the aces?
We've still
got more cards.
We've got the 2 SS aces now.
Yes, the aces. So I'm going to see how they compare. Make sure they're new guys. Yeah. I'm sure they are. So who have we got there?
So SS Unterscharführer Ernst Bachmann's Panther Alf's A medium tank number 424.
Okay, so Bachmann, yeah, and?
SS Sturmbannführer Walter Knief Stug 3 Alf's G assault gun.
Stug 3 Alf's G, okay. Yeah, and they are definitely different because we had Hans Strippel and Otto Karius were the 2 guys from the army deal.
So the Panther with Bachmann is a 38 points cost.
Right, which is 10 points more than the normal one, but he's got a veteran crew, right?
He comes with a 4-star commander, 3-star gunner, and a 3-star driver.
Yeah.
Comes with the ace skills Killer Instinct and Well Drilled.
Killer Instinct and Well Drilled. Okay, so these cards get reused, as it were, because there's a kind of a pool of them, but they've provided the cards. All right, once per game, the Aces tank may perform 2 tactical actions in a single action phase. That's pretty powerful. It's Well Drilled once per game. And Killer Instinct, whenever he performs a fire main gun action, Target tank has an aim marker on the target tank. Roll an additional dice to hit. It has to be aimed, but whenever you're firing at a target you've aimed at, which is the second of the observation levels, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you're already getting 2 dice, roll an extra dice. That's going to make those difficult shots. But that's an all a game thing.
So he's already, if he's aimed, he's already getting 3 dice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then so the Stug free, points cost 24. Cool customer and scoot and shoot.
Scoot and shoot. Tank will never suffer a calamity as a result of a failed crew test. Cool.
Interesting rule, calamity.
Interesting rule, calamity. Yeah. Yes. And then the shoot and scoot. If the tank has a halt command when it performs a fire main gun, it may immediately follow that with a scout action, scoot action for free.
Yeah. So
after you fire, you can have a free scout action. That's a great little ability. Is that a gun armed one?
Yeah, it's an Alf's G. Yeah.
With a 75mm L48. Yeah, it's not the short barrel one. So that it's worth using in game, is my point.
Yeah.
If it was howitzer armed, it wouldn't be worth using.
So what's the standard Stug? There we go. High quality is 20, so another 4 points for an SS
4 points for a guaranteed crew. Yeah. So these are. So what do you do with aces in Achtung Panzer? And I think what you do, I don't think you want to use these all the time because they're just high quality vehicles. But I think you can play them as scenario games.
Yes.
You bring these people in and you build 2 forces that are gonna allow that vehicle to shine, or put it up against you play the story, and you can do that even in your campaign games. You don't have these guys to your roster. You bring them in for a mission.
Yeah.
And I think with Achtung Panzer, you want to play the campaign. You want to get attached to your crew and so forth, because it's quite an involved and detailed game. And that involvement and detail is about rolling the different crew levels and so forth. So I think it's worth investing in them over a series of games. Yeah,
well, we played a game and they reached the point where I wanted my crews to survive because they had some good stats from the first game, so I bugged out.
Yeah.
Rather than stay on the battlefield and risk a casualty during the game, I pulled them back, withdrew to avoid...
And when you play the pickup game versus a campaign game, you feel really different about riding Commander up.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a commander that you paid very few points for because he used to be crap. He's now a decent commander. You don't want him getting shot.
Yeah. Just thinking of that, I was just wondering, the war would make the tank commanders.
Yeah.
But most of the cupolas, you only get one cupola and then an open and closed hatch. If they can make a tank commander in a resin hatch that you could pop in.
That you could slot in if you're listening, Warlord. Yeah.
Because what I've done with some of mine.
I don't mind having a token for button and unbutton, Mike. I don't. I tend to use commander up figures purely to donate the platoon leader.
Yeah.
Your mileage may vary. I don't want to be swapping models in the game, but you obviously do because you mentioned this before.
Yeah, well, because I've magnetised the commanders.
Right, so you can pop them in or not.
You can't close the hatch.
Right.
But you can see the commander or not.
You can see whether you got the commander or not, yeah.
It's a reminder to myself as well, because you forget sometimes.
Yeah. All right, guys, I hope that was useful to you. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So if you like bolt action and you're looking to start the system or start a new army, on our website modelingforadvantage.co.uk we have a range of the starter sets as well as a few of the starter armies. Do consider buying from us as a way of supporting the channel. Thank you for watching.